Alright, what's up, guys? So today, I just wanted to sit down and have a little chat about crushes, the energy of crushes, the difference between having a crush and liking someone, and how you can use that crush energy, transmute it into something that benefits you. So first, I want to start off by defining what a crush is, because I think we all have different definitions of it, but what I'm referring to when I say crush now is kind of like an attraction, an initial intrigue in some type of way. You could think someone's attractive physically, you could like something about them, but you feel that like initial attraction without the actual getting to know a person. And I think liking someone is a little bit different, where it's more like you actually get to know the person. So a crush, like you could like their vibe, you could like their style, something that they do, you think they're really talented at, and you have like a little crush on them. There's a ton of different types of crushes. There's like romantic crushes, sexual crushes, friend crushes, and there's a lot of nuance in that. But learning how to identify what's a crush in your life versus what's like an actual genuine connection where you genuinely like someone, that will really save you energy in like how much of your energy are you spending thinking about trying to change yourself for da 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 for this other person. So when you like someone, that's like a little level deeper. It means you're actually genuinely getting to know them. You like them past like a material quality. Maybe you like the way that they make you feel. Maybe you like the conversations that you have with them, the way that they intellectually stimulate you, whatever else. Like you want to be in their energy. A crush is more like you're curious about their energy. You're curious about being in their energy. Liking someone is more you have been in their energy and you want to continue being in their energy. And I think there's something I've noticed in my own life is that when I don't have something I'm working on creatively that makes me feel really fulfilled, like I'm using all my creative energy to actually build and materialize something, then I find myself kind of having these crushes, like a ton of crushes and a lot of limerence. So I will find people who I'll develop crushes for, and then I won't really want to act on them because I know I don't like them. I just have a crush on them. Maybe I don't necessarily want to get super close with them or start a relationship with them or whatever, but I'm super intrigued by them and I want to get closer to them at the expense of my own well-being, at the expense of my creative projects, at the expense of my time and energy. And that's where it kind of gets unhealthy. That's where the boundaries need to be drawn. And I've had conversations with people before where they talk about their crushes and the lengths that they're willing to go through to materialize their crushes. And a lot of the times when you're doing that with a crush energy, you're letting go of your own personal boundaries. Say you wanted to, I don't know, you had to go to work the next day, and your work is a big part of what keeps you alive, pays your bills, and if you show up late to work, then, you risk getting fired, and that could really threaten your own personal well-being. But because you have a crush, you make the decision to stay up super late, and then you end up being late to work, and then you face certain repercussions that kind of stop you from moving towards your North Star, your main goals in life, all because you decided to abandon your own boundaries and sacrifice your values or the things that are really important for you for the chance of getting to know this person a little bit better. And so I think when it comes to this, like, you have to really learn how to identify the difference between the two and how you should act on them. For me, I've learned that if I identify a crush in my life, usually there's a reason why I feel some type of attraction towards a person without really wanting, like deeply wanting to go deeper with that person. And a lot of the times that's because they have qualities that I, in my own psyche or view of myself, I feel like I'm lacking. So say like I have a crush on a musician or someone who is a really talented musician. I really like their music, and yeah, maybe I wouldn't like be in a relationship with them, but I just like really want to get to know them better and be in their energy. So I like go out of my way to be in their energy. I start realizing that I'm spending this time and energy trying to live vicariously through this person to get closer to them, when I could put that time and energy into practicing playing guitar or practicing my songwriting or writing songs. And in doing that, I'm actually spending this time and energy that I like use the crush as a source of creative energy, and I can take that energy and transmute it into the direction that the crush is pointing me in. So identifying the crush and then identifying what it is about that crush that you admire, and then seeing if it's something that you lack within yourself or that you would like more of within yourself, and taking the energy that you would have spent trying to be in proximity to this person and transmuting it into building whatever quality you think that you're lacking within your psyche that this crush signifies for you, is a much, much, much better use of your time and energy. And I've realized in like my life in dating that a lot of the people that I have dated in the past, or even just like gone on dates with or been interested in, I wasn't necessarily like compatible with. And there was part of me that still wanted like some level of validation from them, even though I like went through the experience of being with them in whatever capacity and realizing, like feeling this gut feeling, it's not compatible, this is not your person, or this is not a person you're supposed to be this close with, maybe you should let go. When I don't listen to that, I end up facing like this feeling of rejection, like unnecessary rejection, because I think rejection is always necessary, especially when you're dating people. Like you have to be okay with being rejected, but there is a level of unnecessary rejection where like you already know the answer. If you know the answer deep down and you still pursue it, you're not pursuing connection, you're pursuing something else. And so you have to ask yourself, what is it you're pursuing? And then we move to the next layer, that is liking someone. So that's like you being in somebody's energy, and it feels more reciprocal. Like there's a mutual... You're good. And there's this like mutual attraction there. I really like to take this mentality of, this is where you start exploring your boundaries with them. Liking someone does not mean abandoning your boundaries. It's, you know yourself, and you're bringing your world to the table. They're sharing their world with you in hopes that you two can create a third separate world that is a combination or a co-creation of your two worlds. And in doing so, you have to be able to know where your own boundaries lie. This is where I say, like, this is the beautiful zone of getting to explore your boundaries together, because in order for you to build a world, your world needs boundaries. In order for them to have their world needs boundaries. And a lot of times, if your worlds are compatible, then a lot of the boundaries overlap. And so, for example, like maybe you guys really like creating together, creating moments, creating memories, even creating like art or work or music or whatever else, business. You have to be able to know where your own skills and interests lie, and have like built your own things in order to share with them and show them the world that you have built, and vice versa. They need to be able to do the same, because if you don't have your own worlds established, then the world that you end up building together becomes a very codependent world, because you're not able to have the space to go back to your own world and, you know, be able to sit in your own soil, sit in your own sun, grow your own resources, and then take it into this new world. So in order for you as an individual to have resources, if you don't have your own world and you only have the world that you built together, you are not able to sustain yourself outside of that world that you built together, which means that you are dependent on this other person to survive, pretty much, to stay in a world. And that can be really painful, especially if, as things change, because systems are very complex, and a world is a system. A world is like, fucking, man, a bird just pooped on me. Look, I just got pooped on. Evil ass bird. I think that's good luck, though. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So yeah, I see liking someone as a level of materializing your crush. Like, taking that crush energy and bringing it into materializing a connection in the real world. And that's where, like, liking somebody and then developing love kind of starts. It has to be a two-way street, because if it's not, and it's built out of obligation, those are very weak foundations. And when that obligation crumbles, it's more vulnerable to when change actually happens. So, basically, if you want to be a better artist, and if you want to stop getting hung up on crush after crush that just crushes your heart, then learning to distinguish the two between a crush and actually genuine connection, liking somebody, will help you so much. So take that crush energy, see what it is trying to tell you that you want to create, whether it be art, work, I don't know, a hobby in your life, and a part of your identity you want to build, or an actual genuine connection you want to build, and take it from there. But man, as a creative, this is just such a helpful practice that I've had to learn for myself, so I stopped getting sucked up in whirlwinds of other people's energies that do not serve my greatest good. All right, see ya.